We've known about global warming since 1950s. Global Warming by Abby and Carson. Air pollution that's being released into the atmosphere is causing the planet to warm.
Do you believe in global warming?
Yes, I definitely do.
What changes could people do to help stop global warming?
I mean, small things like, carpooling. I think the biggest thing is we need to be more aware of what we're supporting financially. We need to be aware of the companies that we're supporting and who's contributing to the biggest causes.
What is causing global warming?
Increase in carbon dioxide in the environment. So anytime that we see factories that are releasing that or cars, all of that contributes to increasing.
Using fossil fuels causes CO2 to be released into the atmosphere.
How is global warming affecting our planet?
It's definitely creating the temperatures to rise. It's where we're seeing effects right now with increased hurricanes. We're seeing effects right now with the crazy weather we always seem to have. This is a direct cause of our climate getting hotter.
Do you think we should help global warming?
Definitely. Like I said, I think the number one thing is we just need to educate ourselves a little bit more. Sadly, there's still a lot of people that don't believe in it or argue with it, and I think that the best thing that we can do is make sure that everybody is educated enough on it and we can all kind of make education.
Animals are in danger of warming oceans.
Do you believe in global warming?
I not only believe in global warming, I know that global warming is a real thing.
What is causing global warming?
The cause of global warming is humans' use of fossil fuels. For a couple hundred years, we've been burning coal and natural gas and oil to heat things and turn engines. I have a visual for us here. This is carbon dioxide parts per million in the atmosphere over the last 400 years. And we can see that this is beginning in 1950. We can see the parts per million of CO2 has gone over 380 and 400 parts per million, which is more than in the last several ice ages and warming periods.
How is global warming affecting our planet?
Well, global warming's a bit of a misnomer. Overall, the planet is getting warmer, but it's changing weather patterns. So parts of the Earth are going to become cooler and wetter. Part of the Earth is going to become drier and warmer. Coastal areas that were hospitable, particularly for poor people, the sea level is going to rise and it's going to become a place where we can't live. Our military is really concerned about the effects of global warming on our bases around the world. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Sea levels are rising because the ice caps are melting.
What would you say to someone who doesn't believe in global warming?
Well, I have a few things for those people that don't believe in global warming. For those of you who are more video prone, here's a video from PBS. You can scan in and check out. And then for those of you that like reading, here's a website from NASA that you can check out. So I would say if you don't believe in global warming, you should ask yourself, what is it you don't believe about science? Because we all believe in gravity. We appreciate the lithium-ion batteries in our phone. These are things that we take for granted, but they were created through the process of science. So if you're not believing in global warming, you need to ask what you don't believe in it about with science.
How can people help prevent global warming?
I think educating ourselves is important. But it can't end there. Awareness of anything isn't enough. As you guys grow up, you also need to consider voting for people that are going to support legislation that's going to reduce emissions of CO2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
House digestion releases methane into the atmosphere. 60% of all mammals on Earth are livestock.
Do you believe in global warming?
I do and I don't. I've done a little bit of research on it, and I know that global warming is a result of carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere. The research that I've done states that the temperature hasn't risen that much due to human interaction, but I think that is human beings living on the planet that we are responsible for taking care of where we live and being careful about our global footprint.
Is Sandia National Labs concerned about their impact on the environment?
Very concerned. In fact, they have an entire department called ES&H, or it's called Environmental Safety and Health. It is dedicated solely to making sure that any sort of product, testing, chemicals, anything like that that we produce does not have a lasting impact on the environment. There has to be procedures in place before we can even do a test that has any sort of dangerous chemicals or any sort of minimal impact on the environment. It has to go through an entire process where it's approved through a management team, through experts, through scientists, engineers, before they'll even begin the process. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal at Sandia. It's one of their mantras.
Even though methane doesn't remain in the atmosphere as long, it's still 84 times more potent than CO2.
Are you aware of any measures that Sandy Labs is taking to ensure no environmental harm, specifically for the atmosphere?
Yeah, so actually, like I said, it's that department that works very hard. So they also have other departments that work on, one department is solely dedicated to making sure that the water that runs, the water table that runs underneath New Mexico is protected. Their job is to test the water, make sure that no sort of chemicals are being leaked into the water. So that's just one step that they take. They promote awareness, they promote Green Day. They're really big on recycling any sort of paper, plastics that are used during the course of our work. They are very big about recycling it, and they have a huge recycling program for that.
What do you think people can do to prevent global warming?
I think that we could probably take a page from Sandy, that we'd be responsible for the recycling in our own homes, that we're aware of the products that we buy and how producing them, such as paper, ink, things like that, how we're destroying the environment around us to have those kind of products, paper bags, plastic bags. What is it doing? So I think that is the biggest thing, the biggest weapon that we have is knowledge and holding ourselves accountable.
Why do you think some people don't believe in global warming?
Maybe they just haven't decided to educate themselves. I don't think that it's so much that they don't believe in global warming. I just don't think that they're aware of it. I think that they've heard what mainstream media has told us for the last couple of decades, and that's what they accept. So it's literally really just a lack of education.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Switching to solar panels can reduce the use of fossil fuels.